Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today I wanted to discuss the best characters to build in Honkai Star Rail. Before we begin today's video, for the question of the day, let me know one of your favorite video games. Lastly, if you enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe, hit the like button to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. To begin, let's discuss a character I highly recommend everyone to build, and that would be Trailblazer, specifically Harmony Trailblazer and Remembrance Trailblazer. Starting with Remembrance Trailblazer, they are an Ice Remembrance character that is able to provide pretty nice buffing capabilities for the team. One of the major buffs being Mem's support, which is triggered once Remembrance Trailblazer has 100% charge. Mem will immediately take action and advance an ally forward by 100%, as well as provide Mem's support. For every 10 energy regenerated by allies in total, Mem gains 1% charge. Mem's support will now allow that character to deal true damage onto enemies, which will nicely amplify the amount of damage you deal onto enemies now, as this is essentially a final multiplier on the total damage that a character can do. For example, let's say that you dealt 100,000 damage and you have a true damage buff of 28%. With Mem's support, you take that 100,000 damage number and you now multiply it by 1.28 times, which now results in 128,000 damage total. Remembrance Trailblazer's buff, specifically Mem's support, can be used for a variety of damage dealers, which can include Castorice, Mighty, Aglaya, the Herda, Acheron, Yunli, Fei Xiao, and much more. Their versatility allows them to be a very powerful option for many team possibilities, and you can technically apply Mem support to multiple allies, as Mem support lasts for 3 turns on an ally. A case where you can nicely take advantage of this is actually applying Mem support to Robin, and then when you use her ultimate, you'll be able to keep the Mem support buff, which now furthers the damage you deal onto enemies even further during her ultimate, and you would then apply Mem support to your primary damage dealer as well. Plus, advancing forward Robin that early into a fight can result in her being able to quickly use her ultimate and advance forward the team, which allows you to quickly take advantage of her additional buffs through her ultimate. As for the rest of Remembrance Trailblazer's benefits, the first Eidolon will now allow you to apply Mem support onto a character and their memo sprite. This is very useful to take advantage of, especially for those who are playing Castorice or Aglaya. As for Trailblazer's traces, their first will automatically advance the Trailblazer's action forward by 30% upon starting combat and will restore 40% charge to Mem when they are first summoned. The 40% charge does stack with the 50% from Mem's passive, which means Mem will be able to quickly apply Mem support to an ally in the start of a fight. Their second trace will allow Mem's AoE skill to restore an additional 5% charge for themselves when it's used, which assists with speeding up Mem's charge to get closer to 100%. As for their last trace, when the max energy of an ally that is buffed by Mem support exceeds 100, the true damage multiplier will be increased based on the difference. Every 10 excess energy increases the multiplier by 2%, maxing out at a 20% increase when the buffed ally has 200 energy, which means your allies with Mem support will now have a higher true damage multiplier they can take advantage of, and for characters with pretty expensive ultimates, they could be getting a total true damage multiplier of 48%. Your second Eidolon allows ally memo sprites besides Mem to restore 8 energy to the Trailblazer whenever they take action, which is once per Trailblazer's turn. This allows for more charge to be gained for Mem and quicker energy regeneration for Remembrance Trailblazer to be able to use their ultimate sooner. As for their fourth Eidolon will give allies with 0 max energy an extra 6% on the true damage multiplier from Mem support, which is effectively the same thing as if that character had a 130 energy ultimate. It also lets them give Mem charge as well, gaining 3% charge. This is very useful for characters that have unique ultimates that do not use energy, for example Acheron, Fei Xiao, and so on. Lastly, E6 will set Remembrance Trailblazer's ultimate crit rate by 100%, which allows them to deal a bit of damage output of their own. As for how to build Remembrance Trailblazer, you'll focus on speed, crit damage, and effect resistance until 30% if you are using Broken Heal. For main relics, I would recommend 2-piece speed sets, Hero, Treffin Song, or Eagle of Twilight Line. For planars, Broken Keel, Luocha, Penacony, Fleet of the Aegis, or Sprightly Vonwag. For main stats, you can go with crit damage body, speed boots, ice damage, HP or defense orb, and energy regen rope. For stat goals, I would recommend 180 and above crit damage, For their speed, I would recommend having them fast so that they are able to act often, which can consist of 160 plus speed or as fast as you can get them. For light cones, I would recommend Memory's Curtain Never Falls or Victory in a Blink. When it comes to teams, as mentioned, you can pair Remembrance Trailblazer with a large variety of damage dealers as a powerful support option due to them being able to provide that true damage buff through mem support. Now for Harmony Trailblazer, they'll be useful for providing super break for break-centric teams, their ultimate, which grants all allies the backup dancer effect lasting for 3 turns. Duration of this will decrease at the start of Trailblazer's turn, and allies that have the backup dancer effect have their break effect increased by 30%, and when they attack enemies that are weakness broken, the toughness reduction of this attack will be converted into 1 instance of super break damage. Harmony Trailblazer will also be able to deal a nice amount of toughness reduction with their skill, delay enemies that are weakness broken, which allows you to deal more instances of super break onto an enemy. Before they recover their toughness meter, they'll be able to regenerate energy when allies break enemies, and so on. As for building Harmony Trailblazer, you'll be looking at their speed, break effect, and defensive stats such as HP and defense. For relics, I recommend Watchmaker, Thief of Shooting Meteor, or Eagle of Twilight Line. For planars, I recommend Talia, Sprightly Vonwek, and alternatively, you can consider other supportive sets. For main stats, I recommend HP or Defense Body, Speed Boots, HP or Defense Orb, and Break Effect or Energy Regen Rope. I would recommend a minimum of 134 speed, and you can aim for higher speeds as well, of course. And for their break effect, I would recommend getting as much as you can, as Harmony Trailblazer's 4th Eidolon will increase the break effect of all teammates except for Trailblazer themselves by an amount equal to 15% of Trailblazer's break effect. As for light cone options, I would recommend Past Self in the Mirror, Memories of the Past, Dance, or Meshing Cogs. When it comes to team building with Harmony Trailblazer, you'll be making super break oriented teams with them, which can consist of them alongside Firefly, Boot Hill, Rappa, even for some other super break possibilities such as Super Break Boba March, Super Break Himeko, Super Break Shui, and so on. Do keep in mind though, you can only have 1 Trailblazer at a time, so you can only do Remembrance Trailblazer or Harmony Trailblazer at a time, but it is worth noting we do have a Super Break alternative, which would be Fugue in the slot of Harmony Trailblazer. Now though, for our next character recommendation, it's actually a character all the way from version 1.0, being Pela. Pela is an Ice Nihility character who's able to reduce all enemy defenses with her ultimate, and this debuff allows for a majority of teams to be able to take advantage of this to deal more damage to enemies, making Pela a very flexible and universal slot for teams. Pela can also use her basic attack often to regenerate skill points for the team, and if you have Pela's 4th Eidolon, she'll also be able to reduce enemies' ice resistance with her skill, which benefits ice damage dealers' damage output that they can deal to an enemy. When it comes to building Pela, I would recommend using Eagle of Twilight Line, and if you don't have Eagle of Twilight Line, then you can use 2-piece speed sets on her for more speed. For planars, I would recommend Sprightly Vonwek, Broken Keel, Luocha, Fleet of the Ageless, or Penacony. I recommend Vonwek the most though for the additional energy regen and the advance forward it'll provide at the beginning of the fight, which allows Pela to quickly use her ultimate in order to debuff enemy defenses before your damage dealer attacks those enemies. As for main stats, I recommend Effect Hit Rate Body or HP Body, Speed Boots, HP or Defense Orb, and Energy Regen Rope. I would recommend aiming for 57% effect hit rate, which will be 67% effect hit rate in battle, as her Trace, the secret strategy, will increase all allies' effect hit rate in battle by 10%. So she will need 57% outside of battle to guarantee her debuffs on enemies. For her speed, I would recommend going for 134, 143, or 160 plus. For light cones, I would recommend Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat or before the tutorial mission begins. As mentioned earlier, she works as a nice flexible spot on teams, which can include Castorice teams, the Herda teams, Acheron teams, and much more. Next up, we have Gallagher. Gallagher is a Fire Abundance character and has been getting even more usage lately, as he is a very strong pair for Castorice teams, since he is able to inflict Besotted onto enemies, which now allows characters on your team to restore HP when they attack that enemy, and this can result in more new blood for Castorice. Gallagher works nicely for break-centric teams or even as a general sustain for teams, as he can provide healing, cleansing, he's able to debuff enemies, and so on. When it comes to building Gallagher, I recommend using 2-piece sets, so for example 2-piece Messenger and 2-piece Ordeal, or it could be 2-piece Messenger and 2-piece Watchmaker, and so on. You can also use 4-piece Thief or the 4-piece Iron Break set. For planars, I recommend Forge, Talia, Broken Keel, Giant Tree, Luocha, Von Whack, and so on. There are honestly quite a lot of options when it comes to building him. For main sets, I recommend Outgoing Healing Body, Speed Boots, HP or Defense Orb, and Energy Regen Rope or Break Rope, but I do personally prefer Energy Regen. For subsets, you'll want Speed, Break Effect, and defensive stats such as Effect Resistance, HP, and Defense. For his speed, I would recommend a minimum of 134, and you can of course go for higher speeds such as 160 plus. For his break effect, to maximize Gallagher's trace, you'll want 150% break effect, as it mentions that his outgoing healing increases by an amount equal to 50% of his break effect, up to a maximum outgoing healing increase of 75%. For his light cone options, you can go with Scent Alone Stays True, Quid Pro Quo, What Is Real, Perfect Timing, Dreams Montage, Shared Feeling, Warmth Shortens Cold Nights, Multiplication, and so on. So yeah, we have a lot of options when it comes to the abundance light cones as well. Next up, we have Ruan Mei. Ruan Mei is an Ice Harmony character and is now obtainable for free through the shop, who can provide numerous beneficial buffs that allows her to be a flexible option for teams. When it comes to Ruan Mei's kit, Ruan Mei's skill will allow her to gain Overtone for 3 turns. And when Ruan Mei has Overtone, she'll be able to increase all allies' damage by 32% at level 10, and also increase all allies' weakness breaking efficiency by 50%. One of Ruan Mei's traces, Candle Lights on Still Waters, will allow the damage increase from her skill to further increase by 36%, as long as her break effect reaches 180% in battle. This now results in a 68% damage increase for the entire team through her skill. As for the additional weakness breaking efficiency, this will now allow you to break enemies at a faster rate, and is especially useful for break-oriented teams, as additional weakness breaking efficiency not only helps you break enemies faster, but can also improve the super break damage you can deal onto enemies, assuming that you are playing, of course, a super break-oriented team. As for Ruan Mei's ultimate, she'll deploy a zone for 2 turns, which will increase all allies' ult-type res pen, and now when enemies are hit, they'll be afflicted with Rebloom, which makes a pretty flower appear above their heads, and now once enemies afflicted with Rebloom are broken, they'll get delayed when attempting to recover their toughness meter, which can be beneficial in the case of keeping enemies broken longer in order to inflict more instances of super break onto them. As for Ruan Mei's talent, she'll increase the speed of all allies within battle by 10%, and when allies break enemies, Ruan Mei will deal an additional bit of her own ice break damage. Now for Ruan Mei's technique, she'll additionally trigger her skill without using any skill points at the start of a fight, and her technique is very powerful in modes like Simulated Universe or Divergent Universe, especially when stacking a bunch of blessings, as she'll be able to deal a nice chunk of damage onto enemies when using her technique. As for Ruan Mei's last 2 traces, Days Wane Thoughts Wax will allow her to regenerate 5 energy at the start of her turn, and Inert Respiration allows her to grant all allies 20% additional break effect. When it comes to Ruan Mei's overall kit, she'll be able to nicely buff up teams with the variety of benefits she has. For break teams, the additional speed, break effect, or ultimate, as well as the additional weakness breaking efficiency is very useful. As for teams outside of break, the ult-type res pen from the ultimate, the damage boost from her skill, the speed boosts, and so on are beneficial for furthering the damage output of the team. When it comes to Ruan Mei teams, she pairs very nicely with any of our break-oriented DPSs or hybrid break DPS characters, some being Firefly, Rappa, Boot Hill, and so on. As for other damage dealers, you can pair Ruan Mei as a general flexible slot for hyper carry or dual DPS teams. Especially since she has team-wide buffs, this allows her to be a pretty nice character to consider for dual DPS teams, since the entire team will be able to take advantage of the buffs that she provides. And if you don't have too many support characters, she could be a very powerful fill-in option to further improve your team's damage potential. When it comes to building Ruan Mei, I would recommend Watchmaker, Messenger, Thief of Shooting Meteor, or flexible 2-piece sets for her relics. For her planars, I would recommend Sprightly Von Whack or Talia. For her main stats, I would recommend going with HP or Defense Body. You can go with Speed Boots, or if you're running a slower Ruan Mei, then HP or Defense Boots, HP or Defense Orb, and then lastly Energy Rope or Break Rope. For her speed, I would recommend about 120 range for a slower Ruan Mei, and 134 or above for a faster Ruan Mei build. For the break effect, I would recommend aiming for 180 break effects within battle. This will maximize her trace handle lights in still waters. Also do keep in mind that her secondary trace will increase all allies' break effect by 20% in battle, which if Ruan Mei is the only character increasing break effect on your team that you are using, then you can go for 160% break effect outside of battle, and of course, you can go higher if you would like as well. Now, before we wrap up today's video, we have a quick few notable mentions. Himeko is still a great option when it comes to either using her on a break-centric team, especially with Fugue, or even using her primarily as a crit DPS. Himeko is still a pretty nice option when it comes to endgame modes, especially Pure Fiction. Bronya is able to provide nice buffing capabilities for the team, especially the 100% advance forward from her skill, which will now allow for higher attacking frequency for your damage dealers, and can be used on a variety of teams. Little Herda is a great option for Pure Fiction, as well as being a really nice option for Big Herda teams. And the same applies to Serval, as they are both able to nicely stack interpretation onto enemies and regenerate energy for Big Herda. King Yun is still a nice supportive option, especially for characters who highly value the attack buffs she can provide with her skill and energy from her ultimate. She's also a very nice user of the Dance 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 Light Cone, as she is able to advance forward all allies with this light cone. If you did end up picking up Luocha, he's a great sustain when it comes to his healing capabilities and could be a very nice pair for Castorice. And as for our last notable mention, it'll be Boba March for today. She's a completely free-to-play character, and she's an excellent option for follow-up teams, as she can nicely be used alongside Fei Xiao, and she can nicely assist with gaining Fei Xiao flying Aureus stacks, as well as buffing Fei Xiao further. You can use Boba March on break teams too, which allows her to have build flexibility for the teams that she is put on. She's able to deal a nice amount of damage, and she can also provide nice buffs for the ally that she makes her Shifu. So she would definitely be on my list for a character I would recommend as well. That'll be all though for today's video. I hope you all did enjoy this video. Let me know which characters you personally recommend building, and also for those waiting for Anaxa showcases, they'll be coming very soon, and feel free to let me know which characters you would like me to showcase with them. If you did enjoy this video, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.